start. We have apologies from Sam Spiri and Pip Lila very gratefully stepped in for Jill Hayes this evening. So thanks for that, Pip. There could be a couple of latecomers coming over.
In respect to the apologies,
do we need to formally accept those? Yeah. Are we? Well, do we know the reason why Sam can't come?
I don't actually have a reason. He just gave his apologies. I mean,
you know.
Tell me, didn't
tell me. Can we? Yeah. Don't know where you can accept them, can you? Look, the standing orders say I think you have to accept your email. I don't know. Well, just the former mayor's being
let me double check. My apologies. I've just got a message in the records, and he's away in Cornwall.
Oh, okay. Right. Are we happy to accept the apologies? Yes. Declarations of interest. Does anyone have any declarations of interest in any item on the agenda? Don't have a report to give this evening, and I don't think we've got any urgent items.
No, Chair, there are no urgent items.
Thanks. Public questions, Phil. Have you received any?
Chair, there are no public questions.
Okay, thank you. Right, the minutes were previously circulated. You'll find those at page 1 to 4 in your packs. Has everyone had a chance to have a look at those? I was at the meeting, I've looked at those, and I'm happy with the record. Been taken, are you? Is everyone happy with those?
Yes.
Yeah. Can they be approved? So do you want me to sign those now, or shall we wait at the end? Pop the signature on that. Can I move the date, please?
It is now September.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Nice. Officers' report. So this is item 6, and we're looking at the board banner and resolution tracker, which starts at page 5 of the agenda. Do you want to take us through anything of note there before we look at the recommendation?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is clearly an item that comes up on the agenda for every meeting. I haven't got anything of particular note to bring to your attention, but I'm happy to take any questions if anybody's got any questions.
Were there any questions on those? I think a lot of those look completely expected, don't know that there's anything new or way through to page 10. I didn't pick anything up. Thanks for questions. No. Okay, so I'll look at the recommendation then, and that is note and approve the forward planner at Appendix A, and note the resolutions like attached at Appendix B, and approve the removal of those resolutions marked complete. Everyone happy to? Yep. Let's go to 6.2 then, which is Batford Springs and Popular Tree Management, and you'll find this at page 11 onwards in your pack. And I know, Phil, you wanted to say something in introduction to this one, didn't you?
Yes, Chair, thank you very much. So we're responsible for approximately 31,000 trees, and HTC has a tree policy that endeavours to ensure that our trees are as safe as is possible through a strict regime of tree surveys carried out by experts, followed by actioning of their health and safety survey recommendations. HTC does not like cutting down trees. We like trees, and since 2021, we've planted approximately 6,000 tree saplings, over 260 large trees, and 517 metres of hedgerow. Tree works are expensive, and we would not waste money on them unless they're absolutely necessary. But we also have to weigh this up against the fact that trees do kill and injure people across the country, and we must do everything that we can to prevent this from happening here. So this report describes concerns that we have about the safety of several trees in a specific area of Batford Springs Local Nature Reserve. You will see that there is a history of trees falling unexpectedly in this area, despite our regime of inspections by experts. These tree surveys cannot easily identify the invisible danger of the decay beneath the ground. Many of these tree failures have been because of root ball problems. Trees highlighted here as safety concerns are generally extremely large and magnificent, but they are in the final stages of their lifespan, and if they follow the pattern of the trees in this area unexpectedly falling due to undetectable issues, the outcome could be catastrophic if people are either walking along the boardwalk or driving along the Lower Leeton Road. Fortunately, there haven't been any injuries in this location to date, and we'd like to keep it that way. But as can be seen in the photos of the history of trees that have fallen, they have fallen on buildings and on parked cars previously. This report highlights several trees considered to present risks to life should they fall in the way that other trees have done here. It also outlines the longer term opportunities and benefits for wildlife and biodiversity if the recommendations for these works are executed. I just want to point out as well that there's a typo in paragraph 3.6.1. It says 5 trees to fell, and then it lists the 3 numbers. It's actually 6 trees to be felled. That's all I've got to say at this stage, but obviously if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer those.
So just, I suppose, for the record and also for people hearing it online, we've got an Appendix A, which has various photographs in of the location of the trees to be felled and for the pollarding. And page 16, I think, is the most useful for our purposes because it shows us exactly where those trees are. It shows us the boardwalk that you mentioned in your verbal report there, and it shows the location of the trees. And if anyone had any questions for Phil about exactly where they are and what the buildings are that they can see, so that they can locate them in their mind, because I know you're all obviously local and you know where they are. But if you wanted any information, then that I think is quite a useful picture in Appendix A. And then Appendix B, Phil mentioned, you know, the pattern of trees that were dying before them. And I think there are some quite useful photographs, again, to put what he said into context, like falling into the river, falling onto buildings, etc. So that's all been documented and provided in the pack. I don't know if anyone has any questions subsequent to that. Yes, yeah.
So leaving a high stem, is that where they would be pollarded? Is that it's just ignorance, that's why I'm asking. So a high stem, where feasible, I think that's at 3.6.1, felling on 5 over mature specimens allowing for a high stem to be left where feasible. Is the idea it would sprout from there?
Chair, the answer to those questions is that the trees that are shown red on the plan here, that talk about leaving stems behind. The stems are of various heights, and the reason being is when we've gone along there and we've stood on the boardwalk looking at these trees, and we've assessed. Most of those ones that are in red are actually leaning towards the boardwalk, and they're very tall and they're very big and they're very heavy, and it would do a lot of damage to people and the boardwalk if they came down. Now, when they've been assessed, obviously Tim and Alex that work here have got an awful lot of knowledge about trees and experience about trees, and they've been assessing what sort of length of stem you could leave behind for biodiversity purposes. The intention is not to grow the tree again, but to put them at a safe height so that the risk of them actually falling and doing any damage is mitigated against.
Yeah, you can have the rotting and the bugs and the monkeys and the birds and all the malarkey that goes on the tree.
Yes, Jeff, correct.
basics.
Yeah, good question. Thank you. Yeah.
And when you fell it, do you take the timber away, or do you keep it on the ground again for the wood life, for the insect life?
Yeah, so Chair, the intention here is that the wood will remain on site.
Okay.
Again, for biodiversity
Cool.
reasons.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the questions in relation to the first part, isn't it? If we're happy for them to be felled, and then going forward, it's looking at the replacement trees that are being proposed, the grey poplars. Did anyone have any questions about the replacement trees? Because I had a list of questions which were answered extremely quickly in relation to whether replacing them was a good idea, whether there were any unforeseen consequences of choosing that particular tree over another tree, whether that tree had a fungus that then affected all the other trees, and then we had problems with the other trees, or, you know, it was those sorts of questions, wasn't it, about, you know, sort of unexpected or unintended consequences, and you answered those really quickly by email, so I was grateful for that. And,
Yes, Chair, would you like me to run through them quickly here, or?
you can do. I hope they don't sound really.
It's lower numbers, isn't it? That's
This
the
is
one.
about the black populace, yes, Chair.
Yes.
So the questions that were raised were, are black poplars the ultimate tree to put here? And the answers that I've got from those who know are that they're slower growing, they're slightly smaller, and they have longer life. So they're much better than the ones that are currently there. And then there was a question about, well, why choose any trees? And the answer to that was that the current difficult species would regenerate quite quickly if new trees are not planted in their place. And then there was questions about whether black poplars would impact other trees in the area or bring infestation, blight or other issues for nearby houses. And the answer was no problems to those. And the question was, would we plant saplings or mature trees? And the intention would be, it would be something in between. So there'd be young trees about 2 to 3 metres tall, relatively small trees that could even be planted by volunteer sessions that Alex and Tim run. And they're relatively cost effective as well, because it would appear that you can get trees like that for about £66 each. And they can be planted immediately after the old trees are felled, because any fungi in the soil would only affect the older trees. But we timed the planting so that it coincided with autumn or winter for rain purposes. So it would either be this winter, or it would be next autumn that they would be planted. I think that's probably the main questions that were.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a tree expert, so some of those questions might sound very naive, and everybody was nodding to a lot of those. So I'm really sorry if I asked a lot of questions I don't know the answers to, but I'm now educated and it's very interesting, I think. But
there's also one that's declining across the UK, so that it's good to choose them basically, because you bring the numbers back.
okay. So I don't know if anyone else had any questions as a result of those, or felt they wanted to supplement them, or.
No, that's answered everything.
Good, thank you for that. So the recommendation is for us to approve an ongoing strategy to manage our stock of grey poplars located at Batford Springs in accordance with the paragraph from 3.6. So that really is in relation to the felling work, isn't it? So because you've got 3.6.1, which is the felling, which Fiona asked a question about, and then 3.6.2, which again is the felling, isn't it? And then 3.6.3 is again the like pollarding or felling if necessary. We've got the key, but then we don't have a recommendation for the replacements. So how do we deal with that? Because do you need us to?
I think, Chair, if there are no objections to the proposed plan for going forward, this is more asking for the committee to approve the strategy for dealing with the risk that we've got there.
Yeah.
And if there's no objections to the other side, we will just get on and deal with the risk.
So as part and parcel of the strategy, the planting of the new saplings comes within that.
It can't, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. As long as that's covered, and that's fine.
have to reassess and look at the best places to put them for the plant. It might not be in the exact same place.
Mm. And you don't need us to set a budget or anything like that, because you've met, I mean, I asked about the price of them, just out of interest.
No, Chair,
No.
we'll do that out of general budget. Going back to your original question about the fact that there isn't a asking you to approve, I guess you could add on a resolution that you do approve the black populace, if that's what you do.
I think we probably should, and then you have got that in case a question came up.
Yeah, they sound like an excellent tree if they're slower growing.
Yeah.
Do you want form of words, or shall we?
I'm happy to take forwards for the approval.
Right, what do we think? And as part of the strategy, so if we did 3.6.4 as part of the strategy to plant replacement trees. And shall we say such as, because then you're not bound to them, black poplars
Thank you, Chair.
in the areas deemed safe by the council, by HTC officers. Does that do it?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Is everybody happy with that? Yeah, great, thank you.
Awesome.
Right, Harpenden Green Loop update, page 34 and 35. Do you want to say anything about the Green Loop?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just short. This obviously gives a very brief update. After the pre-election period, we engaged the community and had a good response from them about this route. Today, we've just finished our reply to the drafting our reply to that engagement, and that will go live in the next few days on the internet. And then we will make the necessary amendments to the route as a result of the engagement that's just been carried out. There was one question received about the report internally, and it talks about. It says about health and safety in the section 5 of the report that there isn't any health and safety, and in essence that's been included because there are no health and safety implications for us as a result of producing a green loop based on existing highways, rights of way and paths, and we would manage the routes on our land in line with our management plans.
Oh, that's helpful, thank you. So the report as it stands then, that says none, you're happy for that to?
Yeah, with that
With that,
explanation.
yeah,
Chair,
yeah,
yes.
exactly, yeah. Now I think we've all taken that on board, haven't we, with that sort of explanation, yeah. Great, okay, so the recommendation there is to note the progress of the proposal and the community engagement. Is everyone happy to do that?
Yeah.
Thank you. The events programme starts at page 36. And there's a report by Harriet and Madeline on the events that are carried out. Was there anything that you wanted to say in addition?
Really, just summarising what you can see there, the report presents the events calendar for next year, and it proposes changes from the existing events programme as we've grown to know it over recent years. Key changes would see the introduction of a new event, Batford Community Festival, and also the introduction of a Nature Day, which the report proposes would also be held in Batfield for the first year next year, but that event would move to different locations around the town. And then it proposes amalgamation of the elements of Harpenden Carnival and the Food and Drink Festival to create one new large-scale event, the Harpenden Festival, to refresh things. It also proposes introducing the Harpenden Summer Sessions, a programme of free or low-cost events held throughout the summer holidays. And also it talks about the return of Circus Zaire for next year as well.
Did anyone have any comments on the proposals within that report? Because it covers quite a lot.
So everything on there, give or take the dates and stuff, but they're all confirmed as yes, they're going to go ahead. From people who are.
So, Chair, if I understand the question, the proposed events calendar that was on there with those dates, that is the dates that the events team would work to ensuring that they happened on those dates.
See, one of my observations in terms of the dates was that there's not a lot around sort of May time. I mean, you've got Easter egg hunts and things like that that coincide with Easter, but of course there was often elections, isn't there, around that time. So I think they have to be quite sensitive to that, and I suppose that might be one of the reasons why there's not a lot. I mean, there's obviously the farmers market, sustainability, and another farmers market. But that's a month that.
Yeah, I think, Chair, that you're correct that there is the sustainability market, there is the farmers market, but I think it is really just the only other thing that I sort of relate to May is the fair coming to the common in May as well.
Yeah.
I think it seems a good idea to have the carnival combined with the food and drink festival and make it one refreshed event in September. Seems a good idea to me. And I like the idea of the, as a result of the arts and culture initiatives, having the summer sessions with the street performer and comedy evening and children's theatre and so on. Things for children to do in school summer holiday. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
And I went to music in Lydica this year. We weren't quite sure what to expect, and it was really good. We did have lovely weather, and we arrived quite promptly, so we actually got deck chairs, which we didn't expect. And there was very strong pins. And it was a really nice event. So congratulations to the team, really.
They do a really good job. And one of the comments that I had in relation to the cost of things, obviously they're increasing slightly. I am amazed at how much they actually manage to put on and how well organised things are, considering the traffic management and the fencing and all the organising and reorganising often as well, because of weather and all of those sorts of things. The amount of money that we pay for the quantity and the quality that we get, I think, is really impressive. And the small amount of money by which they're asking their budget to be increased, I think, is totally reasonable and proportionate. I like the idea of a nature day as well. I think that's a nice idea. It's, I think, a happy coincidence that it will be in Batford this year if we're going to be doing works. Obviously, the boardwalk is always, kept up nicely, isn't it?
Do you think that'll be a rotational thing, or is it the nature day to move it around different places?
Yes, Chair. It will
Yeah,
Yeah. What was that? I did have a comment.
I think it's got event aimed at teenagers dependent on a youth group being formed. Is that what youth group is there? What is that to do with the Arts and Culture Committee? Working party, rather.
Chair, I think that's. I haven't been involved in that, and that's something. If I may take that question away, I'll come back to you on that.
Yeah, because one of the aims of the Arts and Culture Working Party and the Arts and Culture Forum is the idea of getting young people involved in arts and culture, and so I'm wondering if that's what that is about. That there would be a group offering some sort of entertainment or arts activities for young people.
Yeah, that would be a nice thing. The idea that Bill and I
Yeah.
briefly discussed was the possibility of maybe an open air cinema or something like that aimed at teenagers as a
Yeah.
as something a bit different.
Where would you have it?
Well, it used to run, didn't it, on the common?
Okay.
But of course, we now own Rothamsted, which we didn't before.
So you could use
So
it.
could do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Could use that.
The shop anyway, really, don't they?
Yeah, yes, Chair. I was quite amazed when I managed to get him to come here previously because they actually set up right next to the 1081.
Yeah.
So, and it was successful for a few years.
Depends on the weather, doesn't it? How will that get?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of these things are, aren't they? I mean, all of those lovely street performers and things. I mean, they'll all be weather dependent as well, I suppose,
Yeah.
won't they? The Food and Drink Festival is a week on Saturday for people who are Harpenden based. There's a new stall this year, the Mayor's Bears, just in case you have little ones that need teddy bears dressing up for any reason. Come and see me. I think it looks like a really jam-packed and fun events calendar, and I think we should support it. But any other comments? Right, so there are 3 recommendations. I think we'll take them individually because I think the circus is a little bit separate. So approve the proposed HTC-led events programme for 2026 as set out in Appendix A.
Yes.
The second one is to approve the return of a third-party circus to Harpenden Common in 2026 in return for a £7,000 land hire fee and the provision of up to 400 free tickets as in 2025. And that is specifically covered in the report. Everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
And approve the events on HTC land as set out in the Harpenden Events Calendar 2026 attached at Appendix B. Great. Okay, thank you. On page 56, we have a discussion to have about a new volunteer position within the town, a town crier is being proposed. Has everybody read page 56, 57 and, 58 and 59? Had a chance to have a look at that. Was there anything that you wanted to add about that before I open the floor?
Chair, I don't think there's anything I can really add to what the report says.
Okay, yeah.
There's a volunteer, yeah.
Without names, is a.
It's important to get the right person, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. Yeah, so I think the answer to that, Chair, is at this time, I don't think we haven't gone down the line of looking for a person to actually fill the role. Yeah, so
Queuing up to the role.
no, so this is to get approval for the role, and then we would go out to recruit.
Right.
They get bell and hat and everything.
Yes, they get it. There we go.
Has there ever been a town crier in Harpenden before? For the town council or previous incarnation?
We tried to find this out, Chair, and we found a photograph from a procession in Harpenden from something like the 1950s. But what we don't know is whether that was a proper town crier for Harpenden or whether it was somebody in fancy dress, because a few metres behind that person, there's somebody in an 1800s police uniform and things like that. So it could have been people in fancy dress rather than the town crier.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't have one.
they
Yes,
do.
they do.
I think I looked this up actually out of interest, and it was reintroduced in 2000.
Okay.
Where there wasn't one, but of course there's been a mayor in St Albans for nearly 500 years, so it is a much more historic role.
What was the sort of the idea of that Harpenden needed a town crier? What was the sort of?
Oh, I asked that question.
Yeah, so Chair, this idea came forward as a way of bringing in a traditional flamboyant figure to support the mayor at civic events, and perhaps preserve a little bit of something that comes from the past, whether it's been here before or not. It's certainly part of the history of the country.
Yeah. My feeling on it is that as a town council, the mood for me seems to be that we're moving away from traditional things. For example, this evening, rightly or wrongly, I've been referring to people by their first names. The town clerk doesn't wear a wig and gown, for example. I don't sit on, the mayor doesn't sit on the chair all the time, do they? I think we're moving away from that, and it feels a bit more, again, rightly or wrongly, corporate, and we're making decisions about spending taxpayers' money, and we have open discussions. We have WhatsApp groups, we email each other, it's moving in a direction. And I think a town crier is a very big step going back. And I don't know whether it's a role that we need. First and foremost, I'm not satisfied that we need a town crier to do the list of jobs that are set out on page 58. I don't know whether the former mayors ever felt that they were lacking an introduction of any sort. I haven't had that feeling, and I certainly won't ever use a Toastmaster, I don't think. For just as giving a couple of examples. And we have to bear in mind that there is a cost attached to buying the costume and the regalia that we've mentioned, and also the seriousness that people might attach to the role as well. So obviously I have young people in my house, so I asked them what their view might be, and they just said, well, why?
That's the problem, is the why.
And I can't quite get to a satisfactory answer in my mind. And the only place I think it comes up when you look online for how relevant it would be to a large chunk of the population in Harpenden, who ultimately will be paying for this in due course, is TikTok, where there are sort of certain town choirs that sort of send themselves up a bit, and they have a bit of fun, and they go on Insta and TikTok, and they do funny things, which is great, and obviously there's a place for that. But do we want to create a position that then needs to make a different personality?
I mean, when would they step forward? They'd be maybe in the carnival, they'd be at the Heritage Procession, I guess. I mean,
It's outdoor events, I think, where I feel they could be useful, where you're trying to call people to attention as an outdoor event, say.
I suppose
indoors.
I suppose the other thing you could do is like the arts and culture, and they're having things on the common. You could have the town crier go through the high street, advertising it verbally.
That's true.
Yeah. So just a point of information. The St Albans one I met for the first time on VE Day at the memorial in Dobson Beach Street in St Albans, and he did announce what we were there for and what it was celebrating. I don't know who else would have said that, because we hadn't got, well, they did have a little microphone, but it was quite busy with the traffic there. His voice was quite loud, and he did pronounce the event, which was the laying of the wreath, quite well. And he did attract a crowd.
Yes,
Maybe I've never met him before. I mean, I've been to all the mayoral events with my wife being the mayor.
I met him on St Albans Day, and he didn't have a role on that particular day, but he was a very nice chap, and he was in all of his regalia. I can see for events like that, it would certainly would be a good thing.
I mean, I think we have to be careful who we would choose.
Yes,
exactly.
The very character, and certainly the St Albans one I was very impressed with. He was very different than I was expecting.
Hmm.
Just for a point of information.
He's an employee of the the district council, isn't he?
But he's only employed on the. Do you think he's employed doing another job?
Yeah.
And he just puts the damn crier stuff on.
I think so, yeah. 'Cause
Did
he
he?
wears-
I've never seen him before.
he manages the computers at,
Who is it?
I can't remember his name. He manages the computers of the IT on Leon.
It's called.
He doesn't. He manages the IT on. You know when somebody's.
I thought the chap who managed the computers carried the mace.
Well, he's yes, but the same guy, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. Do you
The
know
one I
what?
met was older than the one you're referring to.
Well, he's the one who carries the mace. Is the town crier the same person?
I would need to check. She's not at home. She's at an event tonight.
And there's also that feeling of, you know, if you've got someone sort of dressed up as a town crier and saying, ta-da-da, here's the mayor of Harpenden, and then someone turns up in a dress or suit or whatever and a chain, it's a bit like,
It's a bit of a letdown.
yeah, it's a bit of an anti-climax almost, because you've had all of that pomp and ceremony of this new role that we've created, and then over time, the roles that we actually do have got less and less and less and less sort of traditional and all the costume and things.
Whereas in St Albans, the mayor has a full rig and get up.
Indeed. Mm.
And we don't want to go down that route.
No, well, that's what's down.
The mayor only wears it twice so far today. It's not. They're not allowed to wear it anymore.
Wear them for council meetings.
They're not allowed.
I mean, how much would the outfit cost?
Like £750 to £500.
It costs in the region of £500, but
500 for the
Yeah.
outfit.
that's 4 point.
Oh, £750 is the expenses.
4.1.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not an insignificant, £750, yeah, I know.
Yeah, if it was to happen, are they all saying that they have to wear the outfit?
If you bought it, you might as well wear it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but if you didn't buy it and you just had the position out and someone
Yeah,
dressed up
but then
stuff.
if you don't have the get up, you just got somebody
It's just-
shouting in the
well, you
streets.
do,
Yes, it would be a bit odd. I don't like the idea that it has to be somebody physically able to wear heavy costumes for long periods, because that doesn't seem very inclusive to me.
I do think it's
They've got to.
I think that's a valid point.
yeah.
Yeah.
The hot weather when you've got
And the costume doesn't have to be heavy.
It was pretty warm on VE Day.
I think is that the 700 or the 500 quid is like the authentic stuff, which is
Yeah, it's a standard of talking about.
tube top and shorts. Like, yeah,
So is it going to be advertised? People to apply.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, isn't it?
So, yeah.
Yes.
And if it's to be non-political, then it can't be a past councillor.
if they don't do anything anymore, then
if it's somebody's
No, but the mayor's role is non-political as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apolitical in that sense. So I suppose, yeah, I don't feel
Well, because
well, you never apply.
grief. Yeah, right. Got a loud in my voice. Don't tell me. Well, if it's meant to be non-political, it can't be somebody who's recently served as a councillor. Either.
we've still got a lot of people that could apply for it though.
Yeah. I mean, if it wants to be inclusive, it's got to be it's got to be somebody. It can't be just seen as being councillors Buckingham's term or Buckingham's term.
Oh no, definitely not. No. I think
I'm
it's
somebody for the wider community.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
for wider community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not past council.
With a bit of time.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of times. Yeah. So how would you advertise it?
At this stage, Chair, we haven't got into the detail of that sort of thing until we find out whether or not this committee is going to approve it to go ahead on. But I would imagine that the answer to that would be that through channels like notice boards around the town, social media, and
Not the town crier to advertise it.
I don't know.
Is there any way of putting the feelers out? Generate if there is an interest for it, or committing to, or even just that rather than a 3-year period, having a rolling 1 year.
I think one of the
I think
things,
it's a bit of a time.
I think once you start it though, it's going to be something quite hard to dismantle.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to spend £500
Exactly.
on costume and then go, no.
Now you mention
But
it.
if you get someone who's up for doing it, and then after a year they go, actually, I'm all right, and then no one else wants
I'm
to do
sure
it
we'll
again.
find other people.
Do you?
You have to have a.
Well, I know someone who is a toastmaster. He lives in Harpenden, and he said he was asked to be a town crier. I don't know what for, but I don't think he'd be interested. But I mean, he's a toastmaster. He's tall, got a big voice. He's great at parties. They quiet everyone. I'm sure there are people who'd be interested.
But is it sending the right message, having a role?
I think it is. My personal thought. Having seen the operation of the St Albans one, I was quite impressed. That's my own personal view.
Could we invite him to do some gigs? I'm sure that's the wrong word. In Harpenden to find out whether there is any events at which it would actually work and borrow. I don't know whether that's an Exeter thing or what, where you can borrow a town crier from another place and find out whether there's actually any use or feeling of it.
To be honest, Chair, I don't know the answer to that, so I can find out.
I think that's a really good idea.
Find out what is.
Because he's got the costume, it's obviously reasonably local.
Well, there are some that do it for a fee, aren't there? So you're going to start having them.
But if if you're right and he's employed by the district council, then he might pop over just to do one and then we can gauge the reaction.
Well,
I'll find out a bit more for you.
Can
Who
we
he
do
is.
it like that, or are we because I don't get the sense that we're leaning heavily one way or another, really.
No.
I can see the pros and cons of both.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
problem. I can see it being and also people just going.
Why?
I think that was the big thing that you said. Why?
Should take forecast. So.
I don't know if it's just
Well,
well, it's definitely that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a bit more of a seaside thing. Is that just me? You know, it's,
Function Judy.
which I did see in one. There are certain unique towns. I don't know.
Yes, that's it. A towns that are a bit more seaside.
It might not be seaside, but
Chat GPT, which obviously I'm very sad and I did. Has there been the reintroduction of a town crier anywhere? I actually didn't find the St Albans one. Actually. It didn't bring that one, but it was reintroduced in Windsor. And you kind of go, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that was the story. And then it gave another couple of examples of sort of quite traditional places.
Tourists and stuff. I think that's the thing
Yeah,
is
that's a
there's that.
good point.
Whereas here we don't have tourists. People who go to the farmers market, who know there's a farmers market, and they come to that from St Albans or Luton or roundabout, and they don't need to be told it's there. I think maybe that's what classics in the common. We all know it's happening because we can't go anywhere.
too many people.
So do we need somebody to tell us stuff that we know that's happening?
Yeah. And are the people that don't know what's happening, so younger families coming into Harpenden, are they going to think, God, these guys are bonkers, they've got a town crier telling us what's happening, I can just look
But then
at it on the
that'd be.
internet.
But again, it's not a very big town, so farmers market. You can't miss farmers market. You can't miss classics on the common. You can't miss the circus. You
Yeah.
can't really miss the carnival.
Drive
It's not
past
big
it
enough.
all the time.
It's not big enough to be told stuff's happening down the road because you can see it.
Well, you could say if there's something in the park, but usually it's got you've done like a great job with banners and everything
Yeah,
saying come in here.
exactly. And arts on the common, food and drink, all that. As you drive into Harpenden, you've got the gateway boards, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, does Harpenden History Society say whether?
It was by researching their website and that we were trying to find out. That's where we found that picture chair.
Yeah. So probably
but-
not if there wasn't much.
Yeah, we didn't find anything else. Chair.
I can see the point if you used to have one.
Yes, quite.
Then okay.
Reviving it.
But if it's never, what shall I consider board?
I think if it was part of the package of us doing a lot more traditional things and reinstating things, or
Telling tourists what's going on, but again, that's not really applicable to this town.
no, and we're not going to get tourists in
Uh-uh.
by having a town crier. It's not going to draw the crowds into Harpenden. I don't think I might be totally wrong, but I don't get the feeling that people.
It's like I'm saying, it's small enough high street that if something's happening down that end, you can see it
You know.
or hear it.
Yeah.
But if you're on the other end,
Right, so what's our recommendation? And so, I mean, is it a stupid idea to ask to borrow the district council one?
no idea.
Yes,
Is it?
because I've got a feeling we might be treading on toes or.
It'd also be for what event?
Why?
Would it be for the farmers market or would it be for the
You
Highland?
don't need it for the farmers. Well,
No,
Highland and the
No.
Highland game. And this is it. The Highland
Yeah.
Games again. That's masses of advertising all around town. I think I've talked myself out of it.
I think currently, with no disrespect to St Albans, relations between the town and St Albans are not brilliant, so I don't think borrowing their town crier would work.
No, I was thinking that actually.
It's things that are a little bit because of the parking problem and all
Could
that.
this be an olive branch though?
Yeah, it won't. It won't. It won't. With a little bit I've heard. I don't think that would. I mean, I haven't tried to, that one, but it's
Yeah, I think we need to do it ourselves or not.
yeah. If we're going to do it, there's no member of staff that could be interested.
Chair, I don't think we have a member of staff with a big voice. In.
No, I
Oh,
don't.
go on. About to retire, maybe.
It's I think we've got to do a little bit more investigating on that.
Well, so there's three options then. We can either vote on it this evening, either yes or no, or we can put it off for further inquiries.
I think,
Yes.
Chair, from listening to your discussions, I think you may have already come to a conclusion on.
if it upsets
Well,
anybody down the line, I'm happy to talk about it again.
Yeah, I think, Chair, you've reached the point. There's been quite a lot of debate here. From just sitting here and listening, it sounds like you've gone in a particular direction. So you might want to consider voting
We
on.
can always come up. We can always change. We can always bring it up again.
Yeah.
It's not like we can make the say no for the moment, and then if somebody else goes, oh, hang on, what about this? It's not no forever. It's just no
Yeah.
today.
Yes, yeah.
Mm.
And we should also say that we don't want to discourage people from coming up with ideas and exploring new things
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff.
It might be you come up with something very similar that isn't quite, but very similar. It was just something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a binding decision, is it?
No.
Just-
If there was someone that went on social media and went and spoke loudly, it's not, they could dress up if they want, but it was then put out that way, that might reach more people. And I know we're living in that age, which is terrible, but rather than having up and someone march on and down the streets.
Oh, I see. Get someone who's more of an influencer than
Yeah.
town crier.
I really didn't want to say that one. but
It's out there now.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up near Chester, and they had a town crier. So I googled about it, thinking the town crier was a post that they'd had for donkey's years when I was a kid, because you'd see them around. And they reintroduced it. It was something that, sort of like they brought back after a long break. And it was,
Yeah, why?
Yeah, again, we're back down to the thing of why.
Chester's a big tourist city, so
Well, again, it's so funny. You've got the tourists there at Windsor. You've got the tourists there. So something's happening down one end of Windsor. You've got the town crier going, oh, by the way, up at the castle there is, and then I can see that working. But when you can spit to the end of our high street, so you know,
We could build a castle in the corner.
fancy.
I don't think the town crier will be up there.
we have a spit crier.
So I think Jeff, it would
So,
probably got an answer.
yeah, so shall we vote? If you can raise your hands if you want to approve the appointment of a volunteer town crier. Decide not to approve.
Not to approve.
And those abstain,
Defer-
and then
defer,
yeah.
abstaining. And I've got 2 abstentions. Page 60 now then, please, the ice cream tender spec for 2026 to 2029. The recommendation here is that we approve the proposed tender specification for ice cream sales rights on Harpenden Town Council land as set out in Appendix A. Did you need to add anything?
If you approve, Chair, if you approve the tender specification tonight, then the results of the tender process will be brought back to this committee in December for you to approve the new contractor.
Understood. Okay. Were there any questions about that? Has everybody had a chance to look?
Just the bottom one, at the entrance of the cricket club, because are they arcades? Or is that cricket club gates?
Chair, I'm not 100% sure of the answer of that, but that map in there is
Yeah.
the same as what the contract has been for a
fine.
few years. They don't actually use it very much. They tend to site themselves out here where it's higher footfall.
Has it been the same person for the
Yes, it has, Chair. Their contract was slightly extended because they were just about to start around the time that COVID hit, which interfered with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So they have been given a small extension to compensate for that.
Okay.
Any other questions? So we're asked to approve that then.
Yeah.
Sure, David, yeah, thank you. Getting there. Well, this one gets me, page 76 and 77, request for a memorial. We're asked to approve the request for a memorial bench for Annie Glynn Davies beside the Oakley Road play area. And the background information is in the document there. Is there anything you need to say?
Only share that she's lived all her life in Harpenden and worked in the town too. It's recommended for approval by officers, and her 2 daughters are currently at the John Law School.
It would all pass on. Yeah, condolences, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
To the family, it's really sad. So young.
Did they choose the spot? Weird one.
Yes, I believe that they did, Chair, and it's because she had a role. I believe she had a role in a school down that end of town. So
The Grove School.
if I can, I'll
It
see.
says so. She was an active member of the Grove PTA.
Yes, but I believe she then had a job in a school down
Methodist
that
preschool in Southdown.
It's above the barrel.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, yeah.
Approve that?
Yeah.
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 Thank you, Chair.
And review of awards of merit criteria, page 78. Actually, the criteria is actually appendix A, which is page 80. Did you want to point out the difference, because it says amendment? So did you want to go through those?
Sorry, Chair.
So the oh no, subject to any amendments, you give me that, Michael. Sorry.
So there are no changes.
So, Chair, what that means is if you wish to make an
Oh,
amendment,
okay.
so you're being asked to review and approve the criteria, subject to any amendments that you may or may decide to make tonight.
So is this reviewed every year before the next round of merit awards?
I believe it was definitely reviewed last year. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was reviewed 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Nick, you're on CSC. You were last year. Is that
Yeah.
right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think the important part of it is that the achievements and the service is on an unpaid basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That people are just putting themselves out and just doing good.
Yeah, that's a change we made, I think.
Oh,
Yes, in the past, we had shopkeepers, for example, teachers, people who do great work, but they are actually paid for it. And so we felt there are plenty of people who are volunteers who do the work unpaid. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about doing it for paid people is that how do you differentiate?
Well, quite.
So, but I noticed it says that it's only can be nominated by council officers or town councillors. Is there any?
Well, you can ask your friends.
Yeah, then you not
No.
somebody says.
People can bring it.
So, yes.
yeah. I mean, everybody knows they can email
Yeah.
us. Email addresses are on the website, aren't they? I think with it,
Yeah.
maybe one.
But I'm just wondering if people are aware of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, yes, in a way, we don't want too many.
No, I
We don't want, you do, I think, I remember when I was mayor, somebody wrote in and wanted an award of merit for someone who was a litter picker. And the trouble is, there are a lot of litter pickers, so if we publicise it too much, we might get a lot of disappointed litter pickers and people like that. I think it's up to us to kind of keep an ear to the ground and think of people.
Is there any way of publicising, speak to your town councillor if you would like them to nominate something? Or does that put the town councillor in a difficult tricky position?
Well, I think it does if you get all these people who,
Litter pickers.
yes, exactly. They're just one litter picker out of many.
But then I suppose if we make the criteria for nomination quite clear, because it does say that it has to be particularly meritorious, don't we? That's not to undermine the litter pickers, as your example. But and again, an outstanding achievement. I mean, for all, I think we try to speak to people and stay in contact with people and be open so that people can get in touch. I think that we do all have a limited circle, don't we, to some extent?
I think between us account quite a big range. I mean,
That's true.
you've got school age children, you know, and then things like that. So
Yeah, that's true.
So between us,
Yeah. There's a balance, isn't there?
you can ask other
We haven't had
councillors
a
too.
problem coming up with good people.
Yeah. I think if we had no entry whatsoever.
Yeah, we'd have to review.
Yeah.
Consider that,
Yeah.
But there's usually 10 or
Oh, well, not as many as that.
16.
Yeah, but maybe they're not all
No,
agreed.
completely, that's what we,
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so the recommendation, we're off to approve, subject to any amendments, which we don't have, the awards of merit nomination criteria. Are we? Great. That concludes the meeting. So I'll close the meeting at, it's actually 8:30.